Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Previously, we finished the second game, second case. That's the 7th out of 10 overall. So, boy, the end is drawing ever closer, but for now, I'm just really excited to begin this next one because it's gonna take place in, the World Fair? But Great Exhibition? Something like that. And the cover of it seemed to involve a death ray of some kind? Yeah, this, so let's get going. But actually, I think it would be more appropriate if I just hit continue. The return of the great departed soul, huh? Still not sure what to make of that. Yeah, that's a death laser. It's gonna death someone to death.
The grand end of the century Great Exhibition of London. Surely there is not a soul who has failed to hear of it. Wondrous new works of culture and industry from every corner of the globe had converged on Hyde Park.
Oh yeah, Hyde Park.
Welcoming over 50 million visitors. The last great hurrah of this century. Astonished and delighted people of all nations, and ended on a note of resounding success. But as regards to the terrible catastrophe that occurred during the festivities, very few were aware my friend Mr. Herlock Sholmes had a hand in unraveling the matter. For from the shadows, it was he who earnestly unearthed the facts of the case. And like the centerpiece of the Great Exhibition, which rose high into the skies of Hyde Park, Sholmes's brilliant deductions, as clear and lofty as the Crystal Tower itself, brought the truth to light.
That looked like an explosion.
We're here at the showground of the Great Exhibition, which is absolutely packed with people.
Uh-huh.
The weather is unusually fine, and we're about to witness a most extraordinary scientific experiment.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th century will see steam engines and electrical power dominate the world. Horse-drawn carts will give way to the motor car. Ships will sprout wings and take to the skies.
So, before I go on, there are a few things I want to talk about here. I see in the crate that says William and Turner, WNT. It looks like these two people right here might be in some sort of partnership, maybe. One is dressed as a scientist, the other, well, is dapper. I'll say that much, but what has my attention right now is look there on the microphone. That white ribbon on it, the ends of it look dirtied, or maybe burnt. That's very odd.
And today, we showcase even more advanced technology. A glimpse into the future. A world first. A demonstration of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine.
Teleportation?
A man will literally be disassembled by a pulse of high voltage electricity and beamed to another location.
Oh, that is some bullshit. Oh no. Well, it is a disintegration laser, but not in the way I thought it would be.
Whereupon his body will be reassembled by a series of complex calculations exactly as it was before.
Oh, the dapper man is the victim here.
In but a few moments,
What a lovely scamper.
this gentleman will, in the blink of an eye, complete an incredible journey through the air.
So this scientist guy, he looks like a Pokemon NPC. I half expect this man to throw out a Magnemite at me.
To arrive an instant later on the Crystal Tower behind you!
Okay, calm down. Well, he sounds sincere. Oh, okay, we're done? Oh, okay. Well, we're in October. Quite a long ways from the last case then, for sure.
Runo, are you listening?
Oh, sorry. What was that, Iris?
Huh, what's the matter with you? You've been miles away all morning. Didn't you like what I cooked for breakfast?
No, that's not it at all. What were we talking about again?
Today's paper. It's full of news about the Great Exhibition again.
Ah, yes, the Great Exhibition. I'd like to go sometime.
You're really not your usual self today. You seem very down. Don't you agree, Hurley?
Did you say something, Iris?
Oh gosh, you're even more down.
What's got his goat? Wag! When did you arrive, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, okay. I've been here for about half an hour already. We had breakfast together.
What?
Why didn't you mention it before? I, thought you might have known I was here. You know, because... breakfast? Huh. Iris is quite right. You're clearly lacking in vim. So much so that I didn't notice your presence. Thanks. Of course, I could deduce the reason perfectly well with some simple observations. What? Let's see. Yes, for example, your tousled hair this morning with all its unruly spikes. Clearly it can be deduced, therefore, that... let me stop you there, Mr. Sholmes, because I think I can see where this is going. My hair always looks like this, it always has. Ever since we first met, in fact. Oh, really? How interesting. It just doesn't look like a haircut as such, I suppose. Ha 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 ha. Thanks again. It crossed my mind recently that it's been 6 months now.
6 months?
Since I was forbidden from working in court. Ah, that would be due to the events in the 5th trial of the first game. So I've been wondering how much longer I'm going to be banned.
Oh, well, that would explain why you seem rather glum. Don't you agree, Hurley?
Did you say something, Iris? Ah, back to moping. What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes today? He seems even more down in the dumps than me.
I know, and the Great Exhibition has opened. You'd think he'd be excited. Oh, why don't we all go see it together?
I want to, of course I do, but I can't, not for the time being. Why not? Why not? Why not? Because I'm a great detective after all. So you're embroiled in some tricky case that you can't be distracted from, is that it?
I don't remember hearing that you're working on a case, Hurley.
I suppose I should try to find out what's going on. Alright, first things first, have a little look-see around. Anything new? I guess that's a yes. Left to right then. Every time I look at that machine, I can't help thinking what a monstrosity it is. What's it called again?
The Great Analytoscope. It can analyze absolutely anything, you know?
It does seem incredible, and at the same time incredibly useless.
But it looks impressive, doesn't it? So that makes it very useful.
How does that make it useful?
Because it means you can pawn it for lots of money. The pawnbrokers always make idle remarks like, "What an incredible looking machine." So Hurley often takes it to the pawn shop when he's a little short.
It sounds like this thing pulls its weight around here more than I realized, by having its weight pulled around. Books, papers, scientific implements. These shelves are stuffed to the gunnels. The what? Miss Susato wouldn't be able to help herself if she were here. She can't stand mess.
Susie might not be able to stand mess, but she wouldn't dare touch those shelves.
Oh? Why not?
Everything's in an intricate balance. Hurley spends ages on it. If you were to touch even one thing, the whole lot would come tumbling down. Susie noticed it was a very delicate arrangement right from the outset.
You make it sound like a meeting of great minds. But the truth is, Mr. Sholmes just needs to tidy up. I feel like we've read that before, actually. Maybe it's not new. Ah, yes, Mr. Sholmes' faithful musical companion. Wasn't this violin made by somebody famous?
Yes, it's a Stradivarius. I'm afraid you'd have to save up for 100 years before you could afford one, Bruno.
If I were to save up for 100 years, I wouldn't choose to buy a violin, personally.
Oh? What would you buy then?
I really have no idea. I think I'll have to do it so I can find out. I think that was new. I don't know. Ah, yes, the huge metal chest with the lace cloth laid on it, being used as a table for tea and coffee. It's very sturdy, that's for sure, and firmly locked shut.
That chest contains my father's detailed records of Hurley's many cases.
Yes, so I've been led to believe, though personally I've never actually seen inside.
And that's the way it will stay. Those papers are a secret between Daddy and me. If you go opening it uninvited, you might find yourself being bitten.
What, is there a beast inside there or something? No, the beast is not in the chest. I do love a good fire in the colder months. Watching the flames flickering and dancing about is just so very relaxing.
Cleaning out the chimney isn't so relaxing, though.
No, getting covered in soot isn't my idea of fun.
You know, Hurley decided he was going to clean it out himself last year. But you can guess what happened, can't you? He got himself stuck inside the flue.
He's a very slim man, I admit, but there are limits to where a fully grown man can fit.
Now every time he dozes off by the fire, he has nightmares about it.
Fair enough. All those different pieces of evidence from cases that Mr. Sholmes has solved are very interesting.
The trouble is, Hurley forgets things so quickly. He never remembers why these things are relevant. The other day, for example, he saw the orange pips that were there and decided to plant them in the garden.
Pips?
Yes, they've all sprouted now. We have 5 new little plants.
Oh, well, I don't know what case they were from, but if Mr. Sholmes can get oranges to grow outside in England, he should change his profession. I've never heard of a seed referred to as a pip before, but then my thumb is not green. There are so many different bottles up there on that charming little set of white shelves.
Oh, do be careful, Runo. You mustn't try the contents of any of those bottles, even if you're hungry.
I wouldn't do something stupid like that. I'm not a child, you know.
Well, I wish I could say the same for Hurley. The other day, he polished off a full bottle of one of my alkaloids.
He what?
He said he was hungry.
I'll be extra careful. Ah, yes, this is where you note down ideas, isn't it, Iris? What's in the melting pot today? Huh, the blue carbuncle?
Yes, it's from a case of theft that Hurley solved ages ago. The theft of a precious stone. A carbuncle is another name for a garnet, you see, especially if it's cut with a rounded top.
Oh, really? And this garnet was blue, was it?
Well, that's the thing. They're usually red. No blue garnets have ever been discovered.
Oh.
So who knows what the stolen gemstone actually was? That's the real mystery of the case.
A proper Sherlock Holmes conundrum, eh? I look forward to finding out what aroma your tea will have, Iris, every single day.
Well, I infuse a different concoction of herbs from the garden every time, so it's never the same twice.
When you call it a concoction, it sounds more like a science experiment than something for tea time.
Oh yes, that's because different blends can have very different properties. Some calm you down, some make you feel jolly, some give you energy. Today's particular blend is something quite special, so you're really in for a treat.
That sounds ominous. Yeah, coming from her, it would.
I can type with my eyes shut, you know.
I can too, but it won't turn out to be words. I can believe it. When a deadline's approaching, you sound like a Gatling gun. Or a Chicago typewriter. Hey!
That reminds me of a dream I had the other day. It was such a funny one, it woke me actually. I was typing for a whole hour in the pitch black, but I didn't make a single mistake.
That's incredible.
But then, when it got light, I found that there wasn't any paper in the machine. Now I wonder if I'd actually been typing at all.
Yeah, we definitely read this one before. I think you might have just fallen asleep on the job. Oh man, that reminds me. Last time I slept, I actually had a dream. I dreamt I was bicycling through a tranquil neighborhood that was right next to my grandparents' home. And I was biking along, and I saw this little puppy in the road, so I stopped my bicycle. And I got off to go approach the puppy because it was alone and unattended. It was like, oh, someone lost their puppy. So I was petting it while looking around, and I see this fence with the gate swung open. So I'm like, that must be the culprit. So I pick up the puppy, and I bring it over to the fence, and I put it gently inside, and I close the gate. And then I turn around, and there's the puppy right near my bike, peeing on it. And then I woke up. I don't know what it means. Mr. Sholmes, about this. Shush! Not another word. Ah, yes, I see. This would be a collar for a breed of miniature canine with a particularly long neck, and for winter use. Suddenly this joke hits a lot different after we uncovered that dog collar at the end of the last case. Holy crap. Actually, it's the armband I always wear that symbolizes my role as a defense lawyer. Precisely, which leads us to but one conclusion. Your arm is in fact the particularly long neck of a miniature canine. I'm starting to wish I'd never shown him this now. The man's barking mad. Alright. Probably should have just done this from the start. Half a year ago now, I took on the defense of a young girl in a trial heard at the Old Bailey. What at first seemed like a simple case of murder that took place at a London pawnbrokery turned out to be one part of a much more far-reaching plot that involved the British government. During the course of the trial, it was found that I made an unavoidable yet at the same time unforgivable mistake. Words fail me. This situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial. Of course, my lord. In the end, I had my right to represent people in court revoked. I was told I had to spend my time in research and study, so that's what I've been doing.
You have, haven't you, Runo? Reading all those big, fat tomes about British law up in your room, and the notes about Sholmes's old cases.
Brewing Iris's special blends of tea, fetching my daily bread for me. You've become something of a manservant around here. Start on the silverware next, Master Naruhodo. Well, I'm thinking of going to ask the powers that be to reconsider. Specifically Lord Strongheart at the British Supreme Court on Whitehall. Whitehall? Did they ever give that name before?
Lord Strongheart?
Ah, the delightful Lord Chief Justice. Not my favorite fellow. He's not mine either, but he's the man I have to talk to. He's the only one who can grant permission for me to start working in the courts again. I came to Britain to become the best lawyer I could, and I can't do that just sitting around here. The whole of London has been swept up in this great exhibition, hasn't it? The most advanced science, the most modern technology, the finest works of art and feats of engineering. For the next 6 months, our capital will be showcasing these things, and the world will be watching.
Oh, do you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to look down on London from one of those lovely balloons.
Look down on? Do you mean those things fly?
Yes, of course. They fly high in the sky and don't even need wings to do it. All you need is hot air.
Oh, where's Shamspeare when you need him? But how? How does hot air have anything to do with flying? It makes no sense. I can't understand it at all.
That's true of a lot of new scientific discoveries. Most people can't understand them at first. But in 100 years' time, all these things will just be common knowledge.
Yeah, even I know that hot air rises. I suppose they might be.
Mind you, some of the science being demonstrated seems very questionable. Something went wrong on the open experimentation stage yesterday, apparently. There was a huge explosion. Still, I wish I'd seen it, though. I'd love to see how bad some of these scam experiments really are.
Says the innocent 10-year-old girl. See here, every page of this paper carries some article or other about the Great Exhibition. But the brighter things shine, the darker the shadows that are cast behind them. Personally, I find myself drawn to the darkness, to the impenetrable. That is my proper atmosphere. The Great Exhibition newspaper has been entered into the court record. Hooray! Shadows cast behind. Is that a metaphorical way of referring to the back page of the paper? Let's have a look-see. The Great Exhibition of all nations, eyes of the world are on the Crystal Tower. First test of matter transport device. Oh. The frick? The Reaper attacked? Ruffians aim to intimidate a man of justice. Lord Van Zeeks and compatriot cornered? Compatriot? Lost cat? No! Kitty, no! Okay. Every article on the front page is news about the Great Exhibition. Public experiments to demonstrate brand new scientific ideas, cultural exhibits from around the globe. It's all so positive and hopeful about the coming century. We must all go to see it properly before too long. Lost cat. So many glowing reports about the Great Exhibition and everything that's going on there. Other than this rather gloomy-looking one, that is. Wait, what?
What's the matter, Runo?
The Reaper attacked. That's Lord Van Zeeks. This must be what Mr. Sholmes was talking about. Does he know any more, I wonder? Well, I gotta say, Van Zeeks looks dapper with that hat. And who the hell is that masked person standing at his back? And also, who the hell took this photo? The hell? Anyway, about your gloomy mood. Are you investigating a particularly tricky case at the moment, Mr. Sholmes? You could say that, I suppose. Nothing more to add? That's not like you. What sort of Shush! Quiet, Mr. Naruhodo. We must not discuss it here. You never know who might be listening.
You're acting very strangely, Hurley.
What do you mean, Iris?
Well, usually. The more mysterious and complicated a case is, the better Hurley's mood.
Ah.
Is it really a case that's bothering you?
Iris, please. You mustn't exercise your astute powers of observation and deduction on me without invitation. Remember what I always say. Put yourself in the shoes of the individual about whom you're making deductions. I've never heard him say that. You say that, do you? You, Mr. Sholmes? Never mind. Once I've had a cup of tea, I must make my way at once to the crime scene. That was a deep sigh. It says in the paper that Lord Van Zeeks was attacked. That's terrible. You know the legend of the Reaper of the Bailey, of course, don't you? Only too well, in fact. Yes, Prosecutor Barak Van Zeeks. They say that if the Reaper is the prosecutor in a case, there is no salvation for whoever's in the dock. Even if the defendant is found not guilty. Once the Reaper has someone in his sights, one way or another that person's time left on this earth will be short. London's finest rogues always find ways around the law. They'll stop at nothing to secure an acquittal at a trial. Falsifying evidence, paying sham witnesses, threatening jurors, bribing judges. Well, yeah, I've seen this firsthand. But even such devious tactics as these cannot save them from the hand of the Reaper. As you've experienced yourself, haven't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I've seen the Reaper's retribution at work. Many of these criminal rogues are reckless and quite unafraid to die. If a leader among their fraternity is seen to have been taken by the Reaper, retaliation like this does occur. Really, the capital has a never-ending supply of such scoundrels. So, do you mean Lord Van Zeeks has been attacked like this before? This isn't the first time. He's quite an accomplished combatant, you know. He doesn't take these attacks lying down. Although, it seems that his assailants were armed with guns this time. Oh my goodness. Is he alright then? Is Lord Van Zieks hurt? My dear fellow, how on earth would I know?
Well, in the article here it says, as to what of Lord Van Zieks and his condition, all will be revealed in tomorrow's morning edition.
Ah, I see. Well, we shall have to be patient then. No, I can't wait until tomorrow. In that case, you shall have to inquire with somebody in the know. But who? Lord Strawnheart, perhaps. Ooh, I'm quite excited to go visit him. Oh, someone's got their kit for traveling. Well, I must be leaving now. Yes, understood. See you later, Mr. Sholmes. Ha! You really are a shameless liar sometimes, my dear fellow. What? You seek to put me off my guard and follow me, don't you? Well, you would be wasting your time. The thought hadn't crossed my mind, but now I'm wondering where you're going. Well then, see you later indeed. Listen to him. He's still laughing on his way out of the door. Whoa! That's a new outfit. What the hell?
Alright then, Runo, let's get going.
Oh, Iris, what are you wearing?
I've got change to go to the Great Exhibition. You're going to take me.
What? But I was just about to go to the Supreme Court.
Oh, well, that sounds fun too. You're going to take me there then.
Alright, fine. Just lower that weapon, would you?
Of course. And after the Supreme Court, then we'll go to see the Great Exhibition.
Wow. This is interesting. This is getting very interesting. You know, it's not often that Ryunosuke and Iris are alone in the legal consultancy. I wonder if there's some unique dialogue for this. We can talk.
I'm so excited about the prospect of Naruhodo's Anything Consultancy opening for business again.
That's not what it's called. It's Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. I've done a lot of studying in these past 6 months, reading law texts and judicial precedents. I'm sure I'm a better lawyer now. Can't wait to start practicing again.
Nothing's changed in here at all, though, has it? It's as though time has stood still in here since Susie went back to Japan.
I wanted to keep it ready for Miss Usato in case she was able to return to Britain at any point. So I've just left everything the way it was.
Oh, I see. Right. And there was me thinking it's because of the way you are, Runo. You know, never bothering to tidy up, I mean.
Iris, this isn't the time or the place to bring up my tidiness, or lack of it. Alright, let's see this then. The office spade. Now that Miss Usato's gone, the shovelers aren't represented to correct me. Maybe I'll have to do it myself. That's not a spade, Mr. Naruhodo, it's a shovel. Oh man, he has gone off the deep end.
Ah, so you're a spader, are you, Runo? What, you want to battle it out?
Alright, I'm not going to argue with a native English speaker who has some kind of gun. That was worth it. The kettle's gently simmering away there on top of the stove as usual. It was kind of Miss Susato to send that Japanese tea. You really like it, don't you, Iris? But for me, it's the sound of the stove and burbling kettle that I like the most on biting winter mornings.
And it feels even cozier in here when the delightful Iris pours the tea for me. I really couldn't manage without that wonderful young girl. Oh, Runo, it's so sweet of you to say so.
Stop putting words in my mouth, please, Iris. Now, at first glance, my desk here might look as though it's a mess. However, it's not a mess at all. Everything is exactly where I want it to be. But whenever Miss Susato looked at it, she'd put her hands on her hips and say, "Oh dear." Her way of saying that I should make it a more orderly and neat mess. I missed that.
You sound just like Hurley, you know. He says the same about his mess.
It's the kind of logic that transcends international borders, obviously. Ah, yes, the Dharma doll I brought with me from Japan. I always intended to color in the other eye once I'd become a fully fledged lawyer. But it's still winking at me, like it's trying to say, I can wait. Take as long as you need. Or maybe not. I'll just have to keep on doing the best I can, I suppose.
I could color it in for you, Runo. Just that one eye, is it?
No. It needs to be done with a bit of ceremony, Iris. It's not just a toy for coloring in, you know. I never did see what Miss Susato's room looks like. I could go in now, of course, but I don't dare. They say a young maiden's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets. Although from the laughter I used to hear when you would visit, I imagine it's mainly sweet.
Oh, we used to have such fun in Susie's room. She told me all sorts of interesting things about your country, you know.
That sounds nice. Look at the prawns and anemones gently swaying around in the tank. Regular cleaning, some food, and fresh seawater is all they need. And some conversation, of course. It seemed like a lot of effort at first, but it was worth it. I'm starting to be able to tell what they're thinking. Funny to think that so many people in London had aquariums like this once, when they were in vogue. You'd never expect to find sea anemones in the middle of the capital. I think I'll have to name them soon.
Oh no, Runo's disappeared.
What?
I expect he's been eaten by Hurley.
I think I'd prefer it if you used your imagination more when naming the sea life. Okay, let's just leave. That got weird. Could really go for some wall chicken right now. Okay, actually, it's not chicken. In Castlevania, the wall chicken has never been chicken. Sometimes it's in pork, sometimes it's mutton, sometimes it's just meat. It's wall meat. It's been about 6 months now since I was last here. But some things never change, like the sense of foreboding I always seem to feel in this place. Oh, someone's made herself at home. It doesn't seem to be bothering Iris at all, though. She's happily reading over there.
Oh, I love this place. I always find so many interesting books here.
You've been here before? Of course, I was forgetting that you've been here before. The time we came here 6 months ago. Oh. When Susato-san was given the news that she was to return to Japan. Ah, I understand you wish to speak with me. Hello, Lord Stronheart. Still rocking that baby poop green color, huh? Oh, Lord Strongheart, I trust you've been keeping well? I mean, it's an ugly color, but I gotta admit, that with the black, it's pretty damn unique. I struggle to think of like any other character in all media I've ever seen with a color scheme like this. Green and black is kind of rare, especially like deep olive green and black. Maybe... Oh, what was the proper name for the character? Centipedal from Steven Universe. Lovely cartoon, by the way. Love it to bits. Actually, covering that show was the very first thing I did on the internet under the name Zephyr the Jester on my blog on Tumblr. I haven't touched my blog in years, but I did, like, react to the show in text form. Good times. But yes, the character... what was the actual name? Centipedal was just a nickname, but their actual form, I think, was dark green and black. Anyway. Oh, Lord Strongheart, I trust you've been keeping well? Let's see. Since you arrived and requested an audience, it's been 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 26 seconds. I've kept you waiting a while. My apologies. Oh, no, not at all. I like nothing more than standing around staring into space. Good to know. Good to know that doesn't appear to bother him at all. Mael Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of London. He's the man who allowed me to start practicing as a defense lawyer when I arrived in Britain as a student. You need only savor the air for a moment in this grand office to understand his preeminent status. As you will be aware, the Great Exhibition of London is now underway at last. We are extremely busy as a result, policing the grounds, guarding the new technologies, dealing with petty crime. And furthermore, as of next month, we shall open the International Forensic Science Symposium. Oh, I've not heard about that. Investigating authorities from 40 countries around the globe will be taking part, including from your own land. Forensic science is the future. The world must embrace it. I mean, yeah, good on ya. As we're the hosting nation, I have much to do. And it is of my highest priority. If others must wait for my attention as a result, so be it. Well, it's nice to know where I stand. So, you wish to consult with me? Of course. I can very well imagine what this is about. Oh. Of course, I can very well imagine what this is about. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting, my lord. I want to be allowed to start working as a defense lawyer again in court. That's what brought me here today. But actually, there's something else playing on my mind, as it happens.
Runo, just take a deep breath and come out with it.
Alright. First things first. The Lord Chief Justice's desk. When you look at that, there is no mistaking Lord Strongheart's authority, is there?
But the light from that window behind is far too bright. It would be very bad for the eyes.
I hadn't thought of that. There are no curtains, that's for sure.
What's more important? Having a desk with an air of authority, or having eyes that work?
I can't say I'd ever considered it. After all, my little office barely has any light to speak of, and I haven't really seen my desk in a while. The cogs of the giant clock are keeping time as usual with their steady rhythmical motion. It's really quite disturbing how little sound they make, considering their massive size.
Someone very brilliant must have designed it, and whoever maintains it must be very talented too. But I'm not entirely convinced it's even a clock.
What? Well, what about the huge clock face that forms the window over there?
Some people just make machines that move for the fun of it, because they enjoy watching them. Rather like how Hurley makes his rambling deductions just for the fun of it. Even if the outcome isn't quite right.
Never mind all the trouble it gets others into along the way.
Oh, I've just had a great idea.
What is it?
We could hide inside these suits of armor and spy on the Fob Watch Master to find out what he's really like.
Fob Watch? I don't have much interest in what Lord Strongheart is really like, though. Oh, you will. You will.
Oh, please, it would be fun. You could be inside the left one, and I'll go in the right.
You really want to have to go in the suit of armor, don't you?
Huh. Now you're making fun of me because I'm a child, aren't you?
I wasn't making fun of you at all. I like to have a go too. You couldn't read all these books even if you were reincarnated 3 times over, as a bookworm.
Oh, I know. So much reading material. I'm very envious. I've really been running out of things to read recently.
That's because you read so fast.
Perhaps little by little I could swap some of the books here with some of mine from home.
I don't see why not. No one would notice, or at least I wouldn't, even if I was reincarnated 3 times over as a librarian. Is there an orangutan nearby? Some jokes you just say for yourself. I actually came here today to ask for your permission. Go on. 6 months ago, my right to work in court as a lawyer was revoked and I was told to spend my time studying. Obviously, I'm very sorry for what happened, but the thing is, it made me understand what it really means to defend somebody under the rules of a foreign justice system. And I desperately want to have another go. Please, permit me to enter the courtroom again. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Here it comes. I'm sure you haven't forgotten your position here, have you? At best, you are a substitute for your compatriot. This was never your intended role. Well, that's true. The Japanese government actually sent my best friend on the study tour, not me. It should have been Kazuma. He was so determined to bring change to our own justice system at home. That was his calling. If that tragic accident hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here in this office now. Mr. Asogi was my best friend, you see. That's why I can't leave it unfinished. I have to fulfill his calling for him. His calling, you say? Has it never occurred to you that perhaps you know nothing of his true calling? Oh, here we go. Sorry? The mission with which that young law student was charged. What do you suppose it really was? What do you mean? Mission? He's not making any sense. Never mind. I've read all the reports you've submitted over the past 6 months. It's clear to me that you regret your actions and have been studiously obeying your revised instructions. Do you mean... As of this moment, I reinstate your license to practice law here in Great Britain. Oh, that was easy. Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful news, Runo.
In fact, I believe I have the perfect case to mark your comeback. A curious affair. You'll consider it, I hope? Of course. Please, tell me more. You described it as a curious affair? Yes, that's right. I believe it was reported in the press. Are you aware that there was a serious accident at the Great Exhibition yesterday? Oh, no.
Yes, I read about it. A professor from Germany tried to carry out a crazy experiment. Let me see. How was it described? Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, I think.
Instantaneous kinesis? As in moving things with a click of the fingers?
That's right. It's just what my herbal plants need. A dash of devil may care.
Whatever this serious accident was exactly has clearly captured Iris's imagination. It's an unfortunate business. A large explosion engulfed the public experimentation stage and a man lost his life. A certain Mr. Odie Asman. Odious man? Is he Stinky? Stinky boy? Odious man? An investor and a well-known figure in society. Wait. Maybe odious means something else. Anyway, yeah, it was the dapper gentleman who lost his life. A large explosion.
A man died?
The man responsible for the experiment was Professor Albert Hairbrain. Oh my god. Hairbrain. He was detained immediately after the incident and is due to appear in court tomorrow. On the charge of murder.
What? Murder?
If you intend to take on his defense, you should hurry to meet with him at the prison. There was very little time left for you to carry out any kind of investigation. The Great Exhibition, a scientific experiment gone wrong, and murder? I feel out of my depth before I've even started. Still.
We should go to the prison straight away then, and try to meet with this German professor, don't you think?
Definitely. Ah, yes, one more thing about the case. There's a connection with our mutual acquaintance, the Reaper.
Oh, with Lord Van Zeeks? How?
Well, I guess we should talk to him about that. First, of the armband. By the way, Lord Strongheart, about this. The symbol of a defense lawyer in the Japanese judiciary. Oh, I didn't expect you to know that. We never accept foreign students before first researching the legal systems of their home countries. But such trinkets are merely for show. The only true measure of your worth is your performance in court. Yes, right. Oh, that reminds me. Have you seen this? The reports of the overwhelming success of the Great Exhibition, of course. No, not that. The story on the back page. What story? The Reaper attacked. Ah, that. You've enjoyed some victories in court against my #1 prosecutor, have you not?
Poor Mr. Reaper. What happened to him? He wasn't killed, was he?
There's no need for concern. Lord Van Zeeks would not be so easily dispatched, I assure you. Can you tell us what happened? I'd really love to know. Very well, if it interests you. It does, strangely. Alright. But first, the symposium. All sorts of conferences have been taking place around the world to coincide with a great exhibition. And next month, the largest and most important of them all will take place at last. The International Forensic Science Symposium. It does seem as though criminal investigation needs to embrace scientific methods, doesn't it? Exactly.
Oh.
London, the global epicenter of culture, science, and wealth, now has a population exceeding 6 million. Sadly, crime in the capital is growing at a similarly startling rate. So it's imperative that we use the latest scientific methods to investigate and resolve cases as efficiently as possible.
Which is what's known as forensic science, isn't it?
Exactly. The future of policing.
Oh.
What, are you afraid of birds, Iris? Regrettably, however, Britain is currently dragging its feet when it comes to the adoption of forensic methods.
Oh dear, that's alarming.
Exactly. It's extremely alarming.
Oh.
She keeps getting startled. If I were Her Majesty's Attorney General, you can be sure the numbers of crimes committed and resolved in London would be very different to the current figures. And I can cite 12 solid arguments and 223 individual reasons to support my claim.
Sorry?
By way of apology for keeping you waiting earlier, I shall detail everyone now.
What? Oh, how fascinating!
It all began 15 years ago. I was...
Oh my god, look at this Paper Mario gag. Oh, this is straight out of Paper Mario. They do this a lot in those games.
And that more or less sums up my feelings on the matter, in the simplest of terms, of course. Essentially to formally establish a forensic investigation division within Scotland Yard. That is my mission.
Oh, right. Yes, that's wonderful.
Exactly. Wonderful is precisely what it will be.
Iris isn't paying attention at all. She's got her nose in another book now. Oh, is it over? Did you learn anything useful? I actually drifted off for the most part. He's surprisingly ardent about forensic science.
Fortunately, Lord Van Zieks emerged from the attack unscathed. Street ruffians are no match for that man. He's a very capable fighter.
But that's incredible. Oh, whoops. They were armed with guns. Why was he attacked, though? Do we know?
It's related to events that occurred a month ago.
Oh. So Ryunosuke would have no idea about this, and neither would we.
A leader of one of the capital's criminal organizations was indicated and prosecuted by Van Zieks. But the man was acquitted. I have no doubt large sums of money were involved behind the scenes.
Large sums of money?
A deplorable situation. Members of the jury were bribed, it seems. However, despite winning his freedom, the man in question met a dramatic end yesterday.
Wait. You don't mean... The man who died was... Stinky? The Stinky guy? But you're not suggesting that was the work of the Reaper, surely?
The victim's henchmen certainly seem to think so. He was a man by the name of Asman, yeah. Mr. Odie Asman.
Did you say Asman? That's the man who died in the big explosion at the Great Exhibition.
Yes, known publicly as an investor, but in reality the head of a significant criminal organization.
Unbelievable. I wonder, could I ask you something, Lord Strunhardt?
Try me.
Why do you use Lord Van Zieks as a prosecutor?
All the criminals who manage to get off in court then meet with mysterious ends outside the courtroom. And fearful of that fate, they seek to strike at Lord Van Zieks first. I know there's no evidence that he actually is the Reaper in that sense, but something's clearly going on here. I have Van Zieks work for the prosecution service for 2 reasons. Firstly, the man is the best prosecutor in the capital, bar none. And secondly, any deaths of criminals that have occurred outside the courtroom following his trials are nothing to do with him.
But that doesn't make sense. How can you explain the way so many have died if not by someone's hand?
Van Zieks may have earned himself the moniker of the Reaper, but he is no killer. So he will continue to prosecute on behalf of the Crown. Unless he wishes otherwise, of course. Well, I must be leaving for my next engagement. I'm already 11 hours and 16 minutes late. My colleagues may be starting to fidget. How long did we just spend talking about those 223 whatevers?
11 hours late? That's quite something.
That meeting had already started when I arrived back here for this engagement with you. So lateness was inevitable. Time stops for no man. I relate to that. My personal greatest enemy is the linear march of time, yes.
I'm sure it stopped for me during those 12 solid arguments and 223 reasons. Oh, yes, where would I find Lord Van Zieks now?
I would assume he's at his office.
Right. I'll go and ask him about the attack in person. I want to get this straight from the horse's mouth.
Away with you now. I'm leaving Professor Harebrain's defense entirely in your hands.
Of course, yes. Thank you very much, my lord. Huh. Well, okay then. I guess that's that. Wow. So if we're gonna talk to Van Zieks in person in his office, dare I hope that we're actually gonna tackle more about who he is as a person? Uncover his past? And speaking of uncovering mysteries, who was that masked individual standing at Van Zieks' back? It looked like that individual was helping Van Zieks fend off the assailants by bringing sword to a gunfight, no less. Just who is that? The Reaper attacked. It's the kingpins of the criminal underworld generally managing to escape conviction in the Reaper's trials. And this isn't the first time their henchmen have tried to attack Lord Van Zieks as a result by the sound of it. It makes you think if that's how the justice system works in London. Also, boy, I can read this. I see an ad for Altamont Gas, that's nice. But, let's see. Ruffians attack
to intimidate a man of justice. London prosecutor Barak van Zieks came under threat, yet heavily armed assailed knives and pistols to the side of his companion of Blackguard's reporter, who to the police of crimes. Exhibition the city to have such the occurring as... Okay. Wait, fiery ball gown sets dance hall ablaze? Oh, that's sensational, isn't it? An evening of cordial dancing turned into a blazing ball last week when one of the lady attendees' dresses accidentally caught on fire. Oh, it's not sensational, it's real. In her panic at the sudden appearance of flames at her feet, the lady dashed madly about the whole of the no fewer than 3. Thankfully, the fire is... Okay, French court hears glass eye case. The Juge de Paix of Nearly was presented today with a most curious case of a lady who refused to pay her dues for the purchase of one glass eye. The whole affair began when Madame Pluyette, the defendant, ordered the eye as a replacement for the natural eye she had lost. Upon its arrival, she found that she could see no more with it than she could before. Oh my god. And became incensed at the thought of paying for a deficient product. The Jew de Paix attempted to reason with the madame. The endeavor proved to be in something. Oh my god, that's funny. Oh no. Anyway, top right. In a rather unexpected fashion, Christian VIII of Denmark proclaimed today results of his duration as to who winner of the prize. Ederic VI offered and discover any with the aid of the Teleby. It appears that the winner will not even be a man at all, but rather a young American lady by the name of Maria Mitchell of Nantucket, Massachusetts. Though there were multiple competing claims of the new comet's discovery from all nations, including one by British astronomer Mr. William Rudder Dawes, King Christian was swayed by the fervent petition of Harvard President Edward Everett, who urged the Charge d'Affaires of the United States at Copenhagen. The fact Miss Mitchell's discovery is... Okay, yeah, give the lady her dues then. That's neat. They really put in a lot of detail here. Then there must be dark forces at work. Oh, that really was the last statement. Okay. Oh, I kind of want to read this now. Oh, but there's nothing to zoom in on. That's a shame. Well, yeah, strong foundation so far. Oh, I can't wait to get to the exhibition and take a look at Death Laser. I need to look up the definition of odious. I associate odious with, like, you know, odor, but I feel like that's not the right root word. It refers to something else, but until further notice, the victim here, that crime lord slash investor, is Mr. Stinky. Until further notice, he's Mr. Stinky. Huh. And until further notice, I'm hungry. I need to go eat something. I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Thank you for watching. Hopefully, I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.